What up? Welcome to Unmaster the podcast where I get to chat with the contributors to the hip hop culture, the culture that we love. I'm your host, Atenda Zimbabwe, aka the Ultra Poet, and today I host the award winning Django Loco, ladies and gentlemen. Hey man, please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, bro. This jungle local, ladies and gentlemen. Masvingo, born and bred. I hope I find you well. Let's get this.
All right, man. Mas Vegas representing. Satenda Kure, I have a question that I've always wanted to ask. I think most people would also want to know the Django Loco. Where did that name come from, Django Loco, and what does it mean? Yeah, generally, like what does Django Loco mean, and where did it come from?
Well, initially it was Django Kid. Django Kid is an alias, a nickname that was given to me by a certain Soto lady when I was in Lesotho. That was in 2010, 2011, as a reference to my hairy hands. She was like, you're a Django Kid, you're like Tarzan. So it was Django Kid from the Django Kid, the artist. Then I switched it up to changed to Django Logo because I'm no longer a kid. Come on, Django Loco. Loco being the crazy persona, the crazy rhyming, the crazy punchlines. Because in Tanga, I was more of a deep lyricist, wordplay, chi. But my latest album, I know finally my first or my second, especially per wordplay. Because right now I punch more. Like, do some punches. Like I want drop a content, someone on general paper, or then I let them fly over no green desert eagle, my pen to change, and I now use my words ukuthi anenge like inogona kushanda se-sound ichishanda futhi se-word like pandoti is a calling akusi kufonera imana ninkr, saka is style yanaka introducer after switching it up to Django Loco. So that's loco right there. Has city kid or bango. That's loco.
Yes, I remember when you were called Django Kid, and I really didn't know like how the transition went, but it's a pretty good explanation, man. So how did you start rapping? Because I remember you were a poet before, a spoken word poet before you were a rapper, or you were both, but I just didn't know that you were a rapper. Like, how did you start rapping, and what are the roots of you being the artist that you are right now?
Yes, I was a poet. I was a poet before I ventured into music. But then I've always been someone who I remember when I was listening to there was this Chada Keys album. Ekuti pane amwe ma rhymes aigona ku like amwe ma words ekuti aigona kushandisa maybe in between ma lines ake ari kuthrowa in there ari kuspita ekuti ndaigona kugaya word rekureplace iroro, then the rhyme would be like doper. Saka like even pandaitera certain local artists ma hip hop artists angaripo patime iyoyo ndaigona kupika kuti ano angadai aita so and so, you see, and that was a push factor too. Then something very personal ndo chakazondipusha like kuti nditotanga kurekoda in 2012, just to channel my energy towards something fun. It was OCD related. I can't dig into it. I can't dig into it without getting emo. Why is it atidi usoda? Saka, that's how I started out. That was 2012. Well, as far as Shona raps are concerned, I was inspired by Eddie, when New Click. There was a group named New Click, sort of guest bill back in the day. New Click, it was Eddie and the other one, and Roy, the Dib. Eddie Angaini, like, he raped like and an AZ or AZ. The guy on Life is a Bish. Yanas. If you know the fragrance in Dafunga Makari, yeah. Tanga ndiyava ni like my rhyme schemes anyway ndiyagoko, especially part fragrance in Life is the second verse. And then chinoti ndaneta ne Hong Kong Hong Kong ndakudawo eko Gucci Lacoste Billabong what pane number unzi ndafunga makare Eddie would be like until the walk would be going ndafunga makare chinakare no, it's not ndafunga makare, it's pauri ndakaperera chininepera. Then we'll be like kuna ikwe gava ndiko kusina kana mtsubu changu chiri kuchimandara safungeika kutandara like, you know. So I was really inspired by Eddie. I was inspired by I listened to Nas, Common, The Game, and also apart from Yanambo Huza, it was the major Fush Factor. I was inspired by those artists.
It's alright, man. You don't have to talk about anything that you don't want to talk about. And you said you're also inspired by Nas, Common, and the game. Those are some pretty great rappers. For me, Common is personally my favorite. Nas is one of the greatest. Yeah, so obviously I can see where the lyrical prowess comes from, and your story is really inspiring. Like the way you're talking about how you started with a cause, because most of these people are now getting into rap because they want to look fly, they want to be getting them girls and everything, which is very unfortunate, really. Now let's talk about some of the projects that you've dropped. Take us through the journey from the first record that you made up until the first book of Loco, the award-winning album. Take us through that. Like, what are some of the projects that you have released? Where are they available? And what are some of the challenges that you faced when you were creating some of those projects?
My first track was Bango. A 2-minute track. I got to record the mouthpiece. My headphones. 2-minute track ran to about 2 weeks to pen because Shona, like, when you are new to it, tanga kunyora mabhazi Shona. My one. What is it? So Bango was like the defining track. Better raps. 2 minutes of better raps, no hook, no what. Bar after bar. Bar after bar. Then ndakazotota re-record ndakazoisa kanika hook kaitwa nemufesi local dance artist, local is based in Masvingo, local dance artist by the name Stan Vibes. And after that I began working on my album, my first album, House of Hunger, 12 track project. Rekuti parakabuda, I think it propelled, rakatwizira kuti maybe like the reviews from Munetsi, because Munetsi told me that I reminded him of Kingpin. Ndabudisa project, bro. It was very encouraging and zvanomotivate ndiro aramba ndichibudisa maprojects aiziya. So it was that. Then ndikambomira for a time, start a game, because House of Hunger was me doing me unapologetically. Imeya utongoti ndikutongoita ndikuda waiziya, handineni kuti kunei. I just want to get my message out there waiziya. Then ndakambomira ndimostart a game, ndo pandakamboisa na tochimanya, my first track, experimenting chichi. Then my second album was Apandungo Summarize, Stone City 23 track album. Of course, Banga Penny Maskit Nechi, but it was 23 tracks, not 23 solid. But Manga Maskit, as I said, Stone City was a transition. There's some balance, like my hardcore fans, Church House of Anger, were saying I'm trying to be too like vibe commercial in here, but it's expected because like Anger my deep heads, you know. House of Anger was complex. Shone mwene yakadzika this complex wordplay, you know, intricate wordplay. Saka Stone City ndenza mambudi kumixa nama sounds are modern and you know these bounds yandandawana from John because Stone City ndipakatanga kushanda na John ndakatanga like I met him in 2016 December 2016. That's when he sent me his first beat ara beat rekutanga nasendwa na John ndakatishandisa pa right now pa Bata Mastreets on a song inonzi Ive Now. That's the first beat I got from John. So it was John on the production. Pebsy International Empire House of Anger. He produced almost every track. Lyre and Scatter. That was Stone City. Moving on, Bata Mastreets, the first book of Loco, the award-winning project. 18 tracks. Bata Mastreets, I worked now on the production. Pebsy, for a Cyber 101, John, and I did a beat hip-hop of a guy called the first book of Loco. Then we met together and different intro. Bata Mastreets, the first book of Loco. It earned me a national award, Zim Hip Hop Awards Best Album 2020. I see. Controversies zikatanga ipapo zvazvikazvidaya fana anotaurisa man, but zvinhu zvoti is expected zvagara panoita maawards nini fana vanenge vachichema, fana vanoungudza, fana vanodhidha madhaka kaniwe, but ndemwe. So Bata Mastreets, my third album, so it's 3 albums so far for me, and I wouldn't say pane my problems and doesn't know so far, because really I haven't been someone who maybe push so maybe no sabotage pakati. I think my numbers and data, I deserve them right now, because to date andina video any official video changu Loco ane video yakazvaita. Saka kana ndisiri munhu anopusha kudaro handinga expect my numbers, because kana pasina marketing yakazonyanyisa, don't expect kuti vanhu vachazokuziva, havakutsvagi vanhu. People are too busy right now. So people are too busy right now. Economy yedu yakatsva, nyika yedu yakatsva, izvi munhu wese anozviziva, chero vari kutoitongambira muzviziva, vachiziva kudaro vanofanira kuti pagadzirisa ipapo. Saka people are too busy right now to be kuti azotsvaga kuti kuna nani akadai. You have to grab their attention.
Wow, that was comprehensive, man. You answered some questions that I was going to ask a little bit later, but you included all that in there. The thing about the numbers and people that you've worked with and everything. Now I'm gonna ask, what are your thoughts on the people that are blowing up on the hip hop scene? How does it benefit the rest of the industry, and what's different now that people, hip hop artists, are blowing up in Zimbabwe, doing good numbers in 2020 that they weren't able to do in 2019? Are we going back to maybe the 2016 era where hip hop was blowing up, or with the MMTs and all that? Like, what is your thought on all this hype that is coming to the hip hop genre in 2021?
Well, I take those as signs of better things and better times to come. The genre as hip hop is going to flourish over the years, no doubt about that. As you mentioned with the MMT era, those were baby steps, and up to Patiri right now, the numbers and the attention I would be was Zim hip hop. I don't think a Zim dancer artist would have claimed to be a Zim hip hop king during that 2013 2016 era. Zim dancer by Pisa or anyone, any artist from any any genre in Zimbabwe, because Zim hip hop during that time it was underground. Zim hip hop was underground as a genre, you know. But right now, uh, we have managed to define our own road map, and like takakwanisa kupavha way yekuti right now zvine direction vanonesoona kuti okay zvinhu zvoenda so and in 5 years time I think it will be like the number one music genre in Zimbabwe, no doubt about that. Because what happens is right now vanhu vakukwanisa kuappreciate these urban sounds, afro pop, zim dance or zim hip hop, because they grew up on that, you see. Zvinhu zvoti pazvaiperformiwa pamagala vanaiti gala rakafana chisaladi chishishishi kana zvimwe zvaizvo ona vanhu vachida sungura like, because ndo zvinhu zvavakakura vachinzwa. Right now vafana varipo izvozvo zvakakura vachinzwa zim hip hop. In 5 years 10 years to come ndo zvinhu zvinenge zvakupisa izvozvo, because like ndo zvinhu zvakavarera. So that's the goal. And Sando kuna Holy 10, Sando kuna Tigons, Sando kuna SF, Sando kuna Mfana Pius, Sando kuna Noble Styles, Sando kuna like Kiki Bedes, Kruger, Sando Kwandiri. Anyone ari kupusha the culture forward right now akapenga. Nevamwe vandisina kumention andina ngoli aizinyaya kuti maybe they are less important, but right now tiri mustate ye-interview nogona usazo unless wanyora vanhu pasi waiziva. Shout out to my homeboy Chris Newton, mfana Holland Wolf, Pepsi, you know. And I think we are in the right direction. Just to sum it up, I think we are in the right direction right now. And what's the most important thing is kushandidzana bow, because really I believe kuti if we work hand in hand ndo panonyatso kuva ne-dominance, it becomes a movement imwe yaya yekuti it's hard to ignore. Like I said before, it's hard to ignore a crowd surging forward, but demo yemunhu one inogona kungoignora, kanongotorwa kutovharirwa ona dzaakatorei tikarovaka munhu otovharirwa otosungwa chichi. But then a demo like a mob hayo tazvokutamba ona ndo mapindiro akaita vana Zim dance, because it was like four different guys vari kubva from makona akasiyana on, and it's hard to ignore. Like I said kuti ndo zvakutongorira izvozvozvo, chero wanga usinganakirwa nazvo unopesa kuti okay but bobo watuma mumangoma waize tine vanhu vakawanda kuti wanga usingamuteereri, but because of like rotation pa whatever radio, TV pay attention. And I think that's all we need right now. Munhu anokwanisa kuti apise, akapisa ipapo, make sure wasumudza vako 2 or 3, right? Thus ndo patoti now you're doing it for the culture, because kana ukangobuda uri one vanongona kuti okay kuna ningi ari kuita hip hop, but then kuti the Zim hip hop movement, kuti Zim hip hop, now this is Zim hip hop, ndo vafana vacho ona hapana ndo wapfana wacho kana uri one, kana uri one unenge uchingonzi toziva kuti kuna T-Gonz, toziva kuna uri 10, but then kuti now what's Simi Pop zvekuti pakazoita kana kuti maawards on ana achingozivikanwa kana kuti munhu 1 or 2 or 3 pachitoshaya kuti kuime list ndivapi kuwapfana vari panana best album, best whatever, best newcomer ndivapa, but munhu anokwanisa like munhu anenge achipisa patime iyoyo akakwanisa kusumudza 2 or 3 vake, I think is Pop. I think movement inobva yanyatsokusimba chaizvo, but ukasvika kuti ndokuna kuzominziwa saka pana for the culture, pane pasina zvoti wanzi for the culture, ana achingori mastatement.
Those strong words, and definitely Sando Kwamurim that you've been doing the most for Zim Hip Hop, man. Like you've been putting in the work. I think you have 3 albums now. That's really impressive. And the whole thing about Kusumu Zerana actually makes sense because when you are at the top Uriweka and you have no support system, you have to bring others up so that you have a lot of people at the top and that genre can be floating above the waters for a longer time. So my next question will be, what's next for Django Loco? What can we expect from you? More visuals, more albums, performances, visual appearances at festivals or whatever? Like, what can we expect from you in the next few months or years as you advance with your career as a rapper?
Thank you, bro. Currently I'm working on an EP with the title of Free April's Music. Free April's is a clothing line, a streetwear clothing line belongs to my younger brother, Seth Rich Kwati. He is the CEO and I'm a brand ambassador. I have referred to the brand a few times, say Patrick Pinda Pauna went Free April's heavy club and Jute, no MDC, but can I'm checker where to coupe. I was referring to Free. So it's Free April's Music. It's going to be a 6-track or 7-track EP. I'm yet to finalize. I'm yet to really have the final draft here. Papa, as far as the track list is concerned. Then visuals. I think 2 or 3 of the tracks, Papa not my visuals are. Then they are going to be performing this August. We are doing visual performances for this NGO My Edge, belongs to Onward Gibson. They're going to be airing on their page, Facebook page. There is, I think, a YouTube channel. The page is 263 Youth TV. Check it out, 263 Youth TV. So they're going to be airing. I'm going to be performing 2 tracks. I'm going to be doing 2 tracks, Daddy K's and Notando, and it's going to be fire. Live band, no loop, no sample, no what. Live, everything is going to be live. So I think so far those in the pipeline. So it's going to be that in visuals. And then I think a documentary of mine is dropping soon. It was shot by Stabs. Real One Visuals. You can check it out too. You can check the page. Real One Visuals on YouTube. Panini content page so do purchase the documentary for Tipapo and I'm on my visuals. So those are in pipeline.
That's some exciting stuff, man. We wait for the EP, Free Apparel's Music. That's definitely gonna be fire if it's anything like the Free Apparel's freestyle that we got. And we look forward to the performances. I love live band performances that bring the soul, the vibe to the music that maybe some like visual instrumentation cannot get. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to ask one more question. Like, who influences your music? Who are some of the rappers, singers, songwriters, producers that you have looked up to as an artist, as a rapper?
Well, pertaining influence and inspiration from other artists, um, I listen to a lot of Central African music. I listen to a lot of Simon Chimbetu, Jay-Z, um, Kendrick Lamar, like sonically, is unique. So I always try to uh, be as much different as I can, uh, so as not to maybe andizmunhu kuti ndechingoti I wanna ride the wave iripo and what do whatever everybody's doing. I try by all means to bring something new to the game, bring something new to the table, because we can't all be sounding the same inenge yatova choir and inenge yatova same part choir unison, and it shouldn't be like that. So uh, for me to be standing out, I have to um, make a difference. So it's Central African music, the likes of Loco Kanza, Fali Pupa, Feregola, Werason, then old school and Ishmael Low, Salif Keita, Papa Wemba. Then locally, as I said, the late Simon Chimbetu, may so rest in peace. Rappers. None really inspire me. Not what competition or one day. Saka ndinyaye pay attention. Unogera imwe kuti ukanyanya pay attention to whoever you are competing with, you may end up sounding like them. There are dope rappers out there. Not saying kuti maybe antoriko anotoketa. Check. Shout out to Holy 10. Shout out to SF, Chris Newton, Talk Money, the likes of Soko Matimai, Malcolm Funte, there's Ray Kaz, there's wakawanda list yacho yakarebesa. What is it?
All right, man. I see that you have a lot of like influences. It's always good to have a unique blend, and it will bring a unique sound to your music, which is what I love about your music, especially when you listen to the album. There's a lot of blending that happens on different sounds, different kind of like subgenres of the hip hop culture, which is good. Now, I want to play a game that I play with all my guests. That's called random 10. So I ask you 10 random things, and we get to see a bit of you outside of what you say you like. So the first one will be, what's your favorite movie? Number 2, TV show, visual artist, color, meal, country car brand, rapper, album, producer. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, chakaipa. Favorite movie? Damn. There is a favorite, like childhood favorite, then adulthood favorite. Our childhood favorite would be Terminator 2. Adulthood favorite, The Hateful Eight. But it has to be The Hateful Eight. TV show out now, visual artist, um, visual artist. Simdog, Local. Color, my favorite color is white. Favorite meal, am I really fussy? Mufio. Favorite meal, anything chine nyama baba. Nyama yakagochwa. Ndo favorite meal yangu. Country, favorite watch. Country. it is to be Zimbabwe. Car brand Mercedes Benz rapper. Nas and locally SF. My favorite album. Damn. Lullaby by Simon Chimbetu. Favorite producer, John the producer. John the producer. Shout out to my homeboy. Yeah, yeah.
I see you have diverse taste, man. You could have hooked me up with some of those movies. Of course, I saw Terminator and the other one, I'm not sure. You could have hooked me up with that one. Yeah, Sim Dog has been doing some things, and your favorite color is white. What do you appreciate in that? Why is everybody keeps going saying like Zimbabwe is their favorite country? I mean, don't you live here? Favorite rapper Nas, definitely. That's good. Local rapper SF. I wasn't sure that was gonna come up. But hey, John the producer, definitely you've been working together for the longest. That's dope. Anyways, bro, we've reached the end of the podcast. What would you want to say maybe to someone who's been listening? Maybe to your fans, to your family and friends who have been supporting you as we wrap up the podcast.
I'm really grateful to everybody who's been supporting. I appreciate you all. I thank you all. My last word to you, keep in touch, keep in touch, keep in touch. It's Django Loco on Facebook, Django Loco ZW on Twitter, Django Loco on Instagram, Django Loco on YouTube. There is new content coming soon, not too soon, coming soon. As I told you, pamogaya zvakuvepa ndo patodropa content semwanaremerwa nekugeneral paper is coming your way. So that's just about it. Stay safe out there. Vaccinate. COVID is real, you know that. Mask up. Wash your hands. Today my measures also and mungogara muri safe until.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Django Loco. Thank you so much, man, for coming through. Thank you so much for your time. Takamira zvakawanda toda kuzviwa zvese izvozvo. Mana. This has been Tatena Zimbabwe, aka the Ultra Poet with UNMUSTARD. Go follow us on social media at The Heat Trader, on Facebook, on Instagram. Go give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, thank you.